You're listening to the 3 Pillars of Success, a podcast that inspires people of all walks of life to gain perspective on what it means to succeed. My name is Geraldine Convento, and I'm best known for entrepreneurship, my skills in web presence, and SEO. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, how you doing? This is the 3 Pillars of Success podcast, and I'm your host, Geraldine Convento. Today, I'm really excited to have my special guest, Albert O'Brien. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah. So who are you, where are you from, and what do you do for a living?
My name's Albert O'Brien. I am originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I have been out in Denver for about a year now. I am a residential real estate broker, and it's what I'm passionate about. So, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun?
I like to read, run, go to music festivals, I like to drink with friends. I like to hike. In terms of reading, I like to read a lot of self-help books. So a lot of business books that are really going to, push me further and really help me keep my focus. So.
Great. So the reason why we brought you here today is because we're so curious to know, what does success mean to you?
Success means not having to worry about money, being able to really take care of my family, take care of my loved ones, and being able to potentially, travel the world, take 3 or 4 vacations, 5 vacations a year if I want to. I think those are some things that I kind of look for when measuring my own success, and being passionate about what I do. That's also part of that.
Awesome. So what are your 3 pillars of success?
My 3 pillars of success, just 1, staying focused. Whatever you do, there are so many things in this world that are really trying to grab your attention. And you might have a whole list of things, 16, 17 things to do in a day. But I guarantee you, if you really kind of silence yourself and in your thoughts and really kind of focus, then I'm sure those things will only take maybe 2 hours to complete. I think that's something that's underappreciated, just being able to maintain and silence everything around you. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is staying motivated. You gotta stay motivated no matter what you do. Really kind of keeps you going. Surround yourself with people that are gonna continue to motivate you, uplift you, because if you're surrounding yourself with people that are trying to uplift you, then not only will you go a little higher, but they will too. And the third one is just being passionate about what you do. If you're passionate about what you do, then I think that will take you a lot further in that career aspect than not being passionate. You won't feel like you're going to a 9 to 5 job every morning that you don't like. It won't really feel like you're going to work if you're passionate about it. And so that also partners with staying energized. That'll kind of help you stay more energized, and it'll also help you keep your focus. So it just all kind of intertwines, really.
Awesome. So you mentioned a big part of focus is actually being able to maintain and silence yourself. That's a really big deal, because these days there's so many different distractions, as well as people in our lives that don't always agree with the path that we're taking. So what are things that you do to help focus and silence yourself?
One thing I do in the morning, every morning, I find a motivational video, and I kind of watch that about 5 minutes every morning. And that really helps me keep focused throughout the day, kind of refer back to, why I'm doing this, what I need to do to get to where I want to be. That's one thing. The other thing is really surrounding yourself with people that are on the same level of motivation, wanting to get to success, drive. Those people actually uplift me too. I also do a little bit of meditation also, and that kind of really just kind of lets me hone in on just my abilities in general.
The thing about meditation is you can't have any expectations.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who say, oh, well, when I meditate, nothing happens, or I just have the same thoughts over and over. You just kind of have to try it. You have to keep on. It's kind of like a muscle that you need to build. You just sit there. Maybe you'll have a whole bunch of thoughts fly through, maybe not. And sometimes you get really profound answers to whatever it is that you're going through, dealing with, or ideas. Like I come up with, not all the time, but when ideas come, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I agree.
So in your path to success, has there been any roadblocks that you had to overcome?
I think one of my biggest roadblocks was really just transitioning into real estate. I sold cars for a year beforehand, and that taught me that I did want to be in sales the rest of my life. But when you transition from living in Atlanta to living in Denver and you don't know anybody, that's not a plus in real estate. But I knew that I'd be a lot happier really building my business out here. You come out here and you have certain expectations when you get into real estate. You do really well in the car business. You expect that transition to be very smooth just from the beginning. But real estate can be very, very challenging starting out, especially if you're not familiar with the area, any of the people. You definitely spend a lot of money. And I think the biggest thing though is, at some point it's really basically like if you don't sell, then you don't eat. It's pretty simple. And starting out, if you don't know anybody, then you're not going to sell it first. And so I'm out here living off of my savings for a while. And at some point, I had to, I'm building my network and everything. But at some point, I had to get like a full-time job also, because no matter how much money you save up, at some point, it's going to run out. And so I think that was one of the biggest roadblocks, just wrestling with, working this full-time job and then working real estate at the same time. Eventually, I overcame that. I just had to really kind of settle my thoughts and create a plan and, follow that plan. So I really overcame that, and now I'm doing real estate full time. So, yeah.
That's awesome. There's so many roadblocks that we all face, and there's a lot of things that we have to overcome, like choosing to be an entrepreneur, choosing to be a real estate agent. It takes a lot of focus. You have to build a lot of structures and networks to do that. You have to plan a lot. And we can sometimes have an ego about, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job, or I don't want to get a side hustle, or I want to focus on this. And we get so driven to do that. But sometimes you have to be realistic about what's necessary for you to actually achieve your dream. So one thing that I say to people is you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And if you're going to get a side job or one that's not exactly what your passion is, at least make sure it's a great environment for you to be in, that you work with people that you want to work with. Find whatever's a good fit and just sacrifice for a while.
Yeah, I think if it's gonna get you to your end goal, just keep your eyes on the prize. It takes a lot of, determination, focus. A lot of time it takes waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It takes just going above and beyond and creating that great customer service. In order to succeed, you have to be willing to do things that 9 other people aren't willing to do. And you just really gotta, develop that mindset of just, you gotta make it happen, basically.
It's a lot of trial and error, too.
It is a lot of, especially in real estate, definitely a lot of trial and error. At the same time, you don't want to spend too much money on advertising, or sometimes you're not sure if you're, advertising in the right places. And I've tried a lot of different things just starting out. But with real estate, it's interesting because real estate is all it is, building relationships. Great relationships mean great people. And you just really got to build your sphere to a point where, you're hopefully getting those consistent referrals. It can be never ending, but you do eventually see results. The longer that you're in real estate, the easier it gets.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's so true with referrals. I used to not like networking. I used to think it sucked. I wanted my business partner to do all the networking. And eventually I started to get comfortable, started to realize that I don't always have to talk about business with people I'm networking with. I can actually find out what their interests are and we can hang out. So I found kind of my own style of networking. And to be honest with you, some of the referrals that come aren't even till 2 or 3 years later. We've been in business for 11 years now, and we'll receive messages on our voicemail that say, hey, I met you at so-and-so restaurant 2 years ago, and I found your business card. I wanted to see if you can help me out with my business. And that's 2 years ago. Who would have thought that one conversation for 5 minutes would actually transpire into something else 2 years later? So you never really know.
Yeah, it's really just it's a numbers game. Like you said, you have a way of networking, kind of building your sphere. I have a way of building my sphere. When I network, I only look for people that I actually have a connection with, because someone that you have a connection with is 10 times more likely to refer you than someone you don't have a connection with. And at the same time, you connect with them. You could get a drink with them. You could sit down with them, have a great conversation. And so it's really, real estate's really just building friends. And I think that's across the board, no matter really what industry you're in, whether you're in the mortgage industry, whether you're in the financial sector, relationships are key. You never know what people can do for you.
A lot of people out there are thinking about themselves and success and hearing the different perspectives on this show. Do you have any advice for people who are looking to achieve success in their own life?
My biggest advice to anybody is always have a plan. You have to have a direction you're trying to go in, because if you don't have a plan, then you're just lost. What can you focus on? What's going to energize you? It really just starts with finding your passion, because then once you find your passion, then you can focus. Then your passion keeps you energized, and then you can really plan and take all that in and really create a plan. This plan is going to be tweaked as life goes by. It might completely change, but have some direction. So that's my biggest advice to really anyone that is looking to find success in their lives, no matter what that is.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the 3 Pillars of Success podcast. Remember to follow us on all of your social networks, share this podcast with others, and we look forward to talking with you again next Wednesday. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.